Hello everyone, we're back once again here in the world of Elite Dangerous. I'm your host, Commander Trium. This is another video flight log recording for September 11th, 3304. And today, we again find ourselves deep in the bubble. With the Anaconda. With a still malfunctioning headset, but parts are now, we have the ability to order them, thank God. So we will do so in the very near future. And should result in a repair of our visuals. Learned about the new Oculus Half Dome last night from a fellow wing commander, Erilu, or Osrilu. He's on here somewhere. There it is. Osrilu. There we go. We also have an imminent update going to happen. I don't think it's tonight. Nope. Our Crate Mark II has arrived at Ampere Enterprise. So we'll likely begin working on that once we're satisfied we've got everything working here. We're doing some weapons testing tonight. We're currently at Gardner Horizons in the Cremata system, and we're headed for Dekiat, if memory serves. Stand by for a moment. I'll be right back. Oh God, we're back. Okay. Okay, and who we got here? Ah, Squaddle is now online. Shinwarta Desra. Hang on here. This is not correct. I'm in other menus and I have to shut this off. There we go. So you're in Shinwarta Desra, as I discovered.
Yeah.
And we are at Gardner Horizons. Oh yeah, I have to do the thing with the, hang on. The thing with the buddies. Ooh, I got some bounty here. I blew apart several ships. Power contact, I need you, no, fuck off. I need you to do interstellar factors. I need that paid off. And I need all bounty vouchers paid off remotely. There's a huge 25% cost. There we go. And now we should have a clean ship with no more outfitting issues. And our weapons array. Yes, it's cleaned up. So I have the 3C shock cannon, the 2D shock cannon, and I want, those are both gimbaled, I want 2Ds to be turreted. But first we're going to visit Dekiat tonight, where there is an engineer that will offer some stuff, I think. Let's have a look at that.
But you have a plan.
I do have a plan, but it just hasn't been thoroughly realized yet here. Engineers, please. Who is at Dekiat? It is Felicity Farseer with her engine and thruster modifications. Yay! We don't have to see her anymore, so we can do this remotely, unless we want to change our enhancements, which I'm not sure that we do. And we'll go to our remote workshop and see what we have. We have thrusters, engines, here we are. They have dirty drives. We can take some more mechanical components, generating modification. We can move to item 4 now, and we have 6 configurable components at level 4. We will proceed to level 4. Now proceed to level 5, but we don't have the pharmaceutical isolators or the cracked industrial firmware required to finish off our dirty drive tuning up to level 5. So, we will continue with the modifications to level 4. And take them as high as they will go. We have maxed them out. No experimental effects. We still have to visit Felicity Farseer. Computer, report to Dekiat. And that is where we will go. And then I'll be free to do some attacks with you if you want. I have to check Canon Science one more time to see if there is anything available in terms of the ongoing hunt for Thargoid sensor probes. Laying in a course for the Dekiat system. So, some developments today. My brother, my soon-to-be ex-brother, if he keeps going the way he has been, is my nephew, his son, is in the hospital and has been fighting on and off again for his life for the better part of a couple weeks. Not quite 2 weeks. And I find out today that if there's going to be a funeral, that I'm not welcome at the funeral because Calvin's girlfriend won't have me there. She's been telling lies about me and doesn't want to be confronted with them.
Okay, that sounds all kinds of stupid.
It is all kinds of evil and stupid, and she should be ashamed of herself. She's a rotten human being as far as I'm concerned, and needs to have her head lopped off. But since that would not go over well in the family, I've avoided decapitating her and instead have reverted to... I've only ever seen my nephew, I think, on 2 separate occasions. He's in his 20s now, and I've missed his entire teenage and growing up years because she told this lie to my brother that I was trying to take her son's money away from him. Which I've never done anything like that before, but for some reason my brother elected to believe her. He's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Never has been. Plus, we had a difficult childhood growing up, so he thinks I'm out to get his son now. Anyway, it's a bunch of bullshit. I don't take money from people. If there's anyone guilty of stealing anything in this life, it would be my brother, not me. So,
Sometimes it's just better just to ignore people and...
What's that?
Sometimes it's just better to ignore people.
Well, up until this point I've done that, but now that I had always imagined, however, in the scenario that presented itself, was that Dylan would outlive me, not the other way around. That's the name of my nephew. So now that we're faced with the ugly prospect of losing him, I don't like this new attitude expressed. My father is just trying to, once again, as he always has done throughout his life, contain the situation and prevent Calvin and I from fighting. Calvin's my brother's name. He's trying to prevent the two of us from fighting each other. But I mean, I was talking when I spoke with Kim many years ago about her son's education. It was so that I could help set up a fund to insert deposit money, and she somehow twisted that into me trying to take advantage of Dylan, so that I would have money at his expense. And nothing could have been further from my mind. But she didn't have any evidence, so she made up her own story, lied about it, and told my brother this was my ambition. And my brother, not, again, being the sharpest knife in the drawer, not really analyzing things very clearly, decided that that was probably true, and so he and I have been estranged ever since. Now, I am not afraid to speak to my brother. He is, however, afraid to speak to me. That's his loss, not mine. But when it comes to Kim, I have no sympathy for this woman. And if her son dies, what little joy that I could take from the circumstance is that it would be her misery and her loss that would end all my ties with her. And that would be the silver lining in the situation from my perspective.
My advice would be to... it would not be a good time to be...
no, I'm not going
to... anybody's Wheaties and causing trouble, so my advice would be just wait until afterwards. You can always go to the cemetery and pay your respects after the fact.
Yep.
I'm going to guess that your nephew's smart enough to know what's going on.
He's not. He suffers from fetal alcohol syndrome. He's barely aware of the universe around him, unfortunately. He does understand the difference between life and death, though, and he knows he's in trouble, I expect. But my hope is that it's somewhat muted in his mind, because unfortunately Calvin's adopted, like myself, of course, and his birth mother drank large amounts of alcohol during the pregnancy with him. Now, I'm sure physicians and healthcare professionals advised her against doing so, but I don't know what financial circumstances she was in, but I have no sympathy for that woman either. That woman has singularly screwed up the lives of at least half a dozen people through her own selfishness and ineptitude. And now my brother, cursed with this disease, fetal alcohol syndrome, was sort of treated as second best in the family to a degree in his own mind, because I was born normal. I mean, I have all the... I'm not a stupid person. I'm well aware of this. I can tell I'm not a stupid person based on, my comparisons with people around me. Part of my attitude is towards other people, both growing up and even to some extent right down to the present day, is based on the knowledge that I can see things other people can't. And I'm usually right. And it drives people crazy. It doesn't make me popular, but it does make me more intelligent than the average person. And it's not a set of circumstances, strange as it is to sound, that I would necessarily have rejected. A lot of people might say, oh, it would be better just to be one of the masses. I'm not as sociable a person maybe as the average human being, but it's still true that I care about my brother. I care about my family. Adopted though it may be, it doesn't make any difference. These are the people I grew up with and thought of as, brother, mother, father, whatever. And for Kim to interfere in relationships that are that tightly bonded, regardless of what her own views of adoption are above the pale as far as I'm concerned. I will never lose my hatred of that woman. Never. And that is something else I have to live with and deeply regret, because I don't like hating people. But she has got to be one of the worst people I've ever seen in my life. I guess it's maybe yin and yang, because my grandmother was one of the best people I've ever met in my life. The kindest, most generous people. I'm sure my grandmother would be giving me the exact same advice you are. Which is, just steer clear of it, stay out of it. But I will be taking some bereavement leave if I have to, because the situation really pisses me off.
Ah, shit.
As you could expect. What's going on?
Trying to figure out where my phone is.
What?
Trying to figure out where my phone is. I gotta post something on Facebook my wife just reminded me about. Her archery club. We got league tomorrow's our last night, so.
Well. And what, you go on leave for several months and wait for the winter to pass by?
No, I'm going hunting. It's hunting season.
That's what I would say.
Come January, they'll have an indoor league, which I don't participate in.
Probably good for practice, though.
Well, I go to the indoor range and I'll sit and shoot, but I don't go do league because the problem is it's on Wednesday night. And as it is already in the wintertime, once hunting season's over, I'm running my kids around to their athletic endeavors and everything else, so
yeah.
Kind of nice to have one day a week, just
Well, what happens when they turn? What is your son? Your son is how old?
He's 11.
So you got another 7 years, well, 5 or 6 years of him bumming around with you, and then he's going to be on his own probably.
Oh, big thing right now is a couple more years. And he might change, well, a couple years from now when they turn 14, they can theoretically start driving. If I want to buy him a car and all that, but we'll see what my mood is like at that point.
Yeah, I would recommend waiting till they're 16. I had to wait till I was 15 and a half myself. The law in Manitoba is 15 and a half. You can drive escorted at that point, but you can't drive by yourself until you're 16. That's the law. I don't know.
God damn, what the fuck?
I don't know how it is in South Dakota, but that's the law in Manitoba.
At the age of 14, you can get a learner's permit, and you can only drive between the hours of like 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. or something like that. After you've done X amount of time of having a mentor in the vehicle with you, and then once you turn 16, you can get a full license. When I turned 16, I just got a full driver's license. I didn't do any of the other shit, but I also lived 4 blocks away from school in a small town that was 8 blocks wide by 12 blocks.
Yeah, I mean, the driver tests in the small towns are way easier than they are in the city. People who are inexperienced.
It's all statewide mandatory testing, so I mean,
I'm sure
I took driver's ed and everything that summer, so when I turned 16, I went in. I still had all the credentials from having taken driver's ed and passed.
Sure.
Stuff there. They just took my picture, took my money, and gave me a license.
Yeah. But in Manitoba, you have to pass the test in either a small town environment or an urban environment. I just found myself, I had to retake the test once after letting my license lapse 1 year. And
we had to, when we took...
I ended up having to...
Took driver's ed, we had to do both.
Yeah, no, I ended up having to take... I took the first test in Winnipeg, and I failed that one, and then I took it in Beausejour, which is my hometown, and 3,000 people. And I passed it with flying colors, perfect score. So, I mean, the impression I was left with is that it was obviously, apart from the experience of failing, I mean, obviously you learn from your mistakes, that's one thing, but you can take the test pretty much right away after, like that, not that same day, but you can make arrangements that same day to take it, the very next, if it's a Saturday. And I think I took it less than a week later and I passed it with perfection. So, from then on, I drove until I ran into financial problems in my early 20s, and then now my license is, as far as I know, it's in good standing, but it probably isn't, because I know I've missed payments on a couple of tickets. So it's probably valid, but suspended. Which means I can rent a car, but if I get pulled over, they'll take the car away from me and they'll say, go get your license fixed. So. Friday
evening, I just renewed my driver's license online, so.
Yeah. But I don't need a car driver's license. Like, honestly, in a city like this, apart from the fact the subway has been delayed like an extra 6 months or to a year, it's still...
Hold on a second, I gotta grab my phone. Can you log in a fucking Facebook? Go and get your daughter soon anyway.
You have to go get your daughter?
Oh, I can't log into Facebook. can't remember what the fuck the password is.
Why is that so vital right now?
I was gonna post something on there. My phone's locked in my truck, and I don't feel like going out to my truck.
Well, don't.
I'm not. I just gotta try and remember what the hell my password is.
Microsoft is making me memorize longer passwords now. I think we're coming up on the age of biometrics, where you'll be able to like either use a card or use your thumbprint as the. But the main stumbling block with biometrics has been resolution. How much resolution can they get out of your fingerprint when they use these scanners? Because otherwise they can be hacked, right? So you need very high resolution scans of your thumb to make sure that it's really you.
If I gotta sit and have a fingerprint scanner attached to my computer at home, I'm gonna be pissed off though. I mean, it's bad enough. They've got it so that most shit you have to verify who you are using your cell phone all the time. Well,
that's
problem is some cell phone providers don't exactly want, or they don't make it easy for them to send you messages and whatnot.
No, they make it pricey.
Some cell phone providers aren't as technologically advanced as they should be.
No, not in North America anyway. But in Europe they are, and they are 10 years ahead of us in Japan.
Well,
how the hell did
everybody's ahead of the United States in just about every aspect.
I don't understand how the hell the Japanese are ahead of us technologically in the first place. Oh, there's pirates attacking a convoy here. There are 7 ships. This was
the Japanese have a different mindset.
Listen to this. There are 7 ships in a distress call threat 2 situation. One is a federal... Okay, there's a Sidewinder, another Sidewinder. There's a bunch of Sidewinders escorting a Federation battleship. A gunship. And the moment I open fire on these assholes, I'm going to probably have to deal with... here comes the Eagle for the scan. He's coming in. He's wanted in wing 7 of 7. I don't know if I see it. I'm in the Dekiat system.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going to get to you in time to give any use.
Well, they're not shooting at me right now. They're just sort of sailing along, avoiding me. There's no distress call here. This looks like a trap, but they're not... They don't seem interested in the fight. So if you want to come here, you can. There's time. I'll just follow you.
I'm in a crate, so not too much I can do at the moment.
Oh, you can take on the 6 Sidewinders. That won't be a problem. I'll have this fucking Federation this Type 7 transporter. I'll have him all nice and fucked up in a matter of seconds. Oh, it's a Type 7 transporter. I thought it was a Federation gunship. It's not. It's a Type 7. So there's 6 Sidewinders. I've got shock cannons on all of my weapon ports. I wonder if I should attack them.
I was waiting. I'm on my way. Just got to give you a couple minutes to get there.
Okay.
Jump about 25 light years at a time, and it's only 4 jumps.
Okay, I'm going to launch a fighter just for defensive purposes. I'll leave it on defense for now. Fighter launch.
Copy that. Engaging telepresence control provider.
Oh, they're braking and attacking. Stand by. Letting them have it.
Multiple hostiles in this sector. Let's try not to get shot at.
Shields are down. Target It's almost destroyed.
50% of the whole left, Commander.
My first ring of shields is taking the hit. First ring is almost down. Target's at 44%. It's forward. I have a cargo hatch malfunction. Target obliterated.
Cover fire while I get my shields back online, Commander.
My shields are taking
Commander.
damage.
We're gonna lose the ship. Fighter is down, Commander.
My cargo has sustained damage. Stand by. I'm going to try activating one of my other modules here. Oh, police have arrived. Hang on. Sidewinders are now under attack. Hang on. I've lost all my limpets. No, I have one limpet left. Stand by. Bring up the module again. Docking computer has been destroyed. Damage to some systems.
Now, instead of fixing non-combat systems, I suggest doing the fighting. You can always fix and repair later.
Yeah. Well, I'm letting this asshole have it. Hang on. Target
One jump away.
It's going to be a close one. Third fighter has appeared. Target shields offline. Target should be obliterated. Target destroyed. One left. Target obliterated.
Hey, turn on your wing beacon if you can.
Stand by. I'm still under attack somehow. I can't find my wing beacon. Stand by. Engaging wing beacon. Someone just fired a proton torpedo at me. Federal Security Service.
Ginger, shut up!
Okay, I don't have any... Where is my AFMU?
He's been sucking on ice a lot tonight.
Who? What?
My son had some work done to his teeth today, so he's been sucking on a lot of ice.
Okay, well, we obliterated the squadron, but we arrived here. Sorry.
I tried. There's only so much I can do.
Under attack.
when I'm 5
Warning.
miles away.
Under attack. I am under attack.
Oh, less than 100 light seconds off.
Copy that. Engaging telepresence control.
50. 30.
Watch the service ready to go, Commander.
I don't know who the hell is after me right now. I'm going to start navigating towards you. Whoever's after me will be drawn out from the path. Doesn't look like we have a threat marker anywhere though. I've only got friendlies in the neighborhood, but this guy's...
10 million meters.
Oh, you're still 10 kilometers away. You're never going to get there. There you are at long last. You're now in Switzerland. I'm going to pour him up with you. Now let's see who takes a shot at us. As you can see, my ship is taking damage.
Hey! Alex! Come here!
Yeah, all I see here is Federal Security Service now.
Well, I don't get it. Why do I have... Hang on. My cargo bay door is reportedly destroyed. So is my docking computer. I can't repair it. I'm going to reset my ship, so could you please stand guard while I do that? Did you hear me?
Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
not too far off.
Powering down. Airbase reboot in process.
Ginger, shut up!
Life support is engaged.
Alex, feed the dog.
Systems are coming back online. Repair sequence was successful. Docking computer has been restored. Did you send over a repair limpet?
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming to you now.
Okay, that'll repair my hull. It's attached. Thank you. I
As
only
far as
have...
healing beams, I don't even have any healing beams on this ship right now. They're scattered across 3 other ships.
Yeah, well, I have a repair limpet, but it's the only one I have left. I lost
I
all
just synthesized a set of limpets.
Yeah, so we now have 1 limpet. I don't know why these asshole, one of these ships shot at me and hit my
I
shield.
do not know.
But, yeah,
There's no hostiles in range if I hit my,
no,
hotkey, so.
I didn't see any hostiles either. He stayed green while he was shooting at me, so I don't understand that either, but...
Don't know.
No idea. Wow.
You got a lot of fucking hull points sitting there.
I do. It's not the hull points that are the issue. The issue
Well, it is when I'm fixing your hull. I only repaired 2% so far, and that
docking computer
limpet's
service.
about done.
Well, I can launch a limpet of my own. I mean, I have a repair limpet. I also have a repair limpet.
Successful.
Thank you.
I'll give you 3%.
What class of repair kit do you have?
I've got class 3.
I have a class 5. Let me try.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
If you could send some limpets over, I could use those. You'd have to eject the cargo.
Yeah.
I can also manufacture them.
You can just synthesize them too, because that's all I can do right now, synthesize them.
Okay, I'll just synthesize them then.
I don't have, that's what I ended up doing, because I wasn't exactly planning on taking off quite yet, but I did.
Well, we can go find another fight, I'm pretty sure. I'm on my way to deck yet anyway. Is there anything you need from the engineer there?
I'd have to go to her station and see.
You might be able to upgrade your engines. She does FSDs and thrusters. Up to class 5.
My FSD, I think, is maxed out.
The thrusters?
thrusters, yeah, I've already, well, I'm at level 4, need more materials to go anymore. I've already got drag drives.
Okay. And we have a ship scan underway. Someone's scanning us. What's this boy over here? I think it's the Anaconda.
I think drag drives make you fly faster, if I remember right.
Okay, so hang on here. These modules, inventory synthesis. I need you to produce limpets. Produce lots of limpets, please. Conduct resupply efforts. Yes. Resupplying. Stand by. Synthesis was completed. I now have 5 limpets. Okay. That's good news. Launching a repair limpet.
I don't know.
78%. My shields are being reassembled. I mean, that was quite a fight, and it was a falsified Class 2 distress signal.
Yeah, it's a pirate, sir.
Well, I'm with the Federation. If we have the capacity or we're forced to respond to those
He's
in
probably plucking away for a good half hour, 45 minutes. I wanted him to do some work, so I told him he's done and to do some, take garbage out.
Who's this, your son?
Yeah.
Okay, target lock. Laying a new course. Arshir Inc. Oh, actually I have to get my last fighter. Orders? Recall the fighter, please.
We are going for automated retrieval, Commander.
Fighter recovery is underway. This new video configuration of yours worked out really well. Well, we're at 82% now. So the Class 5 didn't do that much better.
So you're having less issues?
Well, I mean, there's still... I repaired the damaged systems to a limited degree and fixed the hull a little bit, but I mean, I still need a starbase.
No, I'm saying with your graphics card computer.
Oh yeah, the graphics card is... The video issues seem to have gone away temporarily, but I have to... I mean, like you said, there's a connection problem, so I'm going to still have to... sooner or later, it's going to come back and rear its ugly head. I'm going to have to go to Amazon and order a kit. And I can do that now because my credit cards are all valid. And I signed up for Amazon. I downloaded Tom Clancy's new Jack Ryan miniseries. Well, it's not a miniseries now, it's a full series.
I've never read any of them.
No? Well, this is like Hunt for Red October and whatever.
Well, I'm just saying I've never read any of his books.
No, this is a video. You can read his books. You get a lot of information about, I think, the way that U.S. intelligence, the U.S. intelligence agencies the public knows about. You get a lot of information about how they function. From his level of research. You also find out about newer technologies that the spy agencies are willing to share with the public and so on. But they're probably at least 10 to 15 years old, if not older.
Yeah.
It's still pretty scary shit sometimes, though. Like, even if they had this technology 15 years ago, like, what the hell? I found out today that, get this, I found out today that the Prime Minister's office is interested in my application. The fucking Prime Minister of Canada, can you believe it?
Means he must be paying attention to what's going on around him or something.
Well, it's not he himself personally, it's his office. But,
Yeah.
But, I don't think he is, frankly. When you're leader of a country, you don't have time. You don't really have time to, like, tinker with, you know, computers beyond your basic knowledge.
You're going about 190 meters a second because I'm slowly catching up to you.
Yeah, I'm doing 191 right now. But this is not as fast as I get. You do realize.
I'm just saying I'm at like half throttle.
Yeah, that's about right. I'll show you my full throttle.
Let me know when you're at full throttle.
Now. So 350 with thrusters engaged. And this is going up and
That's me doing 500.
yeah, believable. Holy shit, you actually pushed me up to 460. The ship's never gone that fast before. Except falling out of the sky on a 2.3G planet. I had it up to 800 once. But then again, you could do probably that. I think I may have pressed it 900 meters per second. Let me tell you, it's nothing scarier than a planet's surface coming up at you at 900 meters per second. It scares the life, the bejesus out of you more. With a VR helmet on.
How the hell are you behind me?
I'm not. I'm ahead of you.
The shit's showing that you're behind me.
Well, that's strange because guess what? I'm at Farseer Station. I'm at Dekiat 6. You're behind me. According to my sensors. Are you sure you're not lagged out? What is your
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
What's your ISP doing to you? Again, still.
I don't know. I have to go check on my food that I got cooking here shortly.
So are you coming to Farseer or what's your plan? Wait?
Yeah, that's where I'm heading.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything she can do for me right now, but we'll see.
Alright, we'll be there in a minute. Man, I pummeled the life out of that Type 7 though. It was done in under a minute. This shock cannon is fucking awesome. You just pelt the fucking hell out of it with like shots. Like little miniature torpedoes, and they fucking do shit buckets of damage.
Orbital flight engaged.
You're in the glide pattern. "50 kilometers above station. There is a large tower assembly here.
This may very well be the first time this ship has ever been here.
Heavy commencing automated flight control routine. Please observe docking protocols. Access granted. Proceed to landing pad 08.
I was trying to fly my ship through the tower. It's not going to work.
I'm trying.
Oh my god, it actually made it around the tower. I swear to God, it was aimed right at the tower, and it was gonna, like, hit the tower, and then at the last second it pulled away. There's another human here. He's hovering. No, he just jumped away. Beg your pardon.
Came in a little too fast and it dropped out of orbital cruise. Still 100 kilometers out.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
It's been a while since I've flown this ship.
Landed any bases?
Last time I flew this ship, I was actually in the Talon system running around with Delta Flyer.
Touchdown completed. Engaging ship restraints.
I'm going into the hangar.
Has been noted.
We have 185,000 damage in credit. Sorry, 185,000 in credits and damage. Stocking my supply of shots. We will have to go to advanced maintenance and restore a lipid count. Ship integrity was reduced by 3%. An additional 31,000 credits. So, about 200,000 credits in damage from that last fight. And they scratched the paint as an added bonus. Stellar cartography gives me 20,000 credit reimbursement. We're now visiting the engineer's workshop. Oh my god! Well, here's where you get your shield boosters boosted. If you want more shields. I have a level 4 power plant already, so let me
Problem is, this crate doesn't have that great of shields, even if they're engineered.
Well, these are just for the shield boosters, not the shields.
Well, I'm saying, regardless, the boosters don't do much good if you don't have a lot of shield to start with.
No, they don't. Although they do, the rate at which they increase the shield strength is cumulative, so the more shield boosters you have, the more bang for your buck you're getting. I have maxed out the FSD range. The engines are already extended beyond her ability to enhance them further. Oh, wait. Engines. Yes, but she can actually give me experimental effects. She offers thermal spread, drive distributors.
That's great.
It is. Thermal load is increased. The removal of safety protocols and control cell increase drive thrust output at the cost of additional heat generation. They can increase drive...
I've got some kind of fucking glitch going on here.
What?
It keeps jumping from trying to jump from one option to the next on the stupid page here.
Oh no. It's your HOTAS. It's all fucked up.
Oh, what the fuck it is?
Well, I can strip down the thrusters, and I will subtract 72 tons from my vehicle. And given the costs, I think that's what we'll try. Now it's stripped down standing on dirty drive tuning.
There's nothing she can do for me here, so...
Hang on, I'm going to check and see how much she extended my jump capacity. Stand by. Jump capacity only increased by 1 light year. I can now jump 41 light years again. With all these fucking weird-ass weapons. But, since I'm about to get turrets, I think that's the right decision. Let's see what else can she do for me. Surface scanners, I don't think I've enhanced them. Oh, yes, I did. Shield boosters. I have the blast-resistant shield booster, the heavy-duty shield booster. For mass increase, I get resistance augmented shield booster, phosphorus. Power draw and integrity are compromised by the modification. Advantage, increased overall damage resistance. Explorer needs every advantage you can get. It's just you and the void at the end of the day. Okay, we'll try this. Yep. Class 1 is all she can offer, and that's all that comes with the... There is a bonus experimental effect available. Ooh, I can have thermal block, force block, blast block, and I can increase shield boost 26% by installing supercapacitors, additional enhanced capacitors.
I'll be back. I gotta find a restroom.
Fine.
Hi.
Are you back yet?
You still here?
Yeah, I was waiting for you. I decided I should move off the landing pad though, so now I'm sitting on the ground next to the landing pad. I found it.
I'm launched now.
What's that?
I'm launching now.
Okay, I'll watch your launch when the video's due. Oh, there you are. Okay, I guess they'll follow suit. You know, this tower must be really tall.
Which one?
There's that tower. There's only really one in this whole freaking thing.
Oh, let's see. It's kilometer tall. 1.5.
Pretty fucking tall.
2 kilometers. That's about 3 kilometers high.
Are you at the top?
Yeah, I'm looking at the light that's spinning around. It's 3.2 kilometers up right now.
Yeah, I was slowing down way at the top so we get my own. Oh, a light just shone in my eyes. So I'm at eye level with the tower's top. The light, yeah, is at 3.23.
3.15 kilometers.
I'll show it at 3.24. Yeah, I'll move a little closer.
Well, I'm sitting right in front of the light.
Yeah, well, I should get the same reading on. Yeah, you probably are correct. 3.24, 3.23, 3.22, 21, correct. That is one fucking huge-ass tower. I'm actually at 3.16 with my bow right off the fucking thing.
Yeah, I hover between 1.5 and 1.6.
3.16, that is just fucked up. Okay, where do you want to go? You lead.
I don't see any reason to stay on the planet.
No, neither do I. Engaging hyperdrive.
Warning, Commander Trium Augusta has deployed hardpoint.
Disengaging automated flight control routine. Safe travels, Commander.
Jumping in 2, 3, 2, 1, jump. Right on your ass, 37 kilometers away. 45 now. Now remember, you can leave the system if you wish.
I'm kind of glancing through to see if there's anything that looks...
Do you have your beacon turned on?
Probably not.
Turn it on, I'll lock to your beacon.
Major reserves, I don't think there'd be any good piracy in this system.
I'll lock to your beacon. You're 6 kilometers ahead in 5 minutes.
Oh, I did turn my wing beacon on earlier.
Now at 20 kilometers and you're still increasing away. Your ship is got more thrust capacity than mine, even with the enhancements I just purchased.
Get mine maxed out.
I can't use thrusters in this mode, I'm stuck in hyperspace, so... You're now measuring light seconds, you're 1 light second, 1.4...
I'm now at 70% throttle.
2 light seconds and still climbing. I'm now traveling at point 2C. You're still coming away at 5.5 light seconds away and climbing. 6.5. 7. I have matched your speed. Your light seconds are fine.
I'm doing 1C.
And 2C.
I'm climbing. You just passed me up.
Yep.
Problem is, it's a pain in the ass for me to try and stay on your tail here. Because I got more thrust built up than you do. Oh, you found an unidentified signal source?
I scanned it, it's useless, it's a convoy of ships. They have no value. Well, they have value, but you have to pirate them. So, pick a system we can jump to and fight stuff. Unless you can find something to fight in this one. I want to show you my shiny new guns.
We'll try this one, just see. I just picked one from random.
Okay. Now traveling 40C and climbing. Your wake is detected. Locked on. You're going to the Meli-Yamtha system.
Yeah, some kind of tongue twister clusterfuck system.
The Meli-Yamtha system. Auto engaging.
Conflict zone, high intensity. Azrez, there we go, that's where we're going.
Auto jump engage. Following me. Takes about a solid 10 seconds to follow you into hyperspace, eh?
Better take something, alright.
Yeah, you've been located. Following you around. Oh, you're headed for a high-intensity conflict zone. Don't you pick a low one?
I'm going to a Hazres.
Oh.
Resource extraction site hazardous. There.
Gotcha. This is a gas giant.
I'm not interested in conflict zones quite yet. Well, especially this ship. This ship ain't built for it.
Well, it is if it's got lots of escorts.
That's just it. I don't know how great of an escort you can be, and I have no healing beams to be of much use.
Monitoring your approach to the gas giant. Scanning a gas giant. I have you on scanners. The gas giant is a class... Well, it's a resource extraction site. Meli-Yamtha 3. Nope, Meli-Yamtha 4. Planet was not previously scanned. It will be added to my cartographic database. It is Meli-Yamtha 2. Looks like it's Saturn class. It is a class ammonia gas giant. Are you headed for the extraction site?
Yep. That's circling around to the backside of the planet.
I was wondering why you're making a farmer's turn around this planet. There is a
I don't have to get into the gravity well.
There is a resource extraction site low, and there's a Hazres. Okay. On the scanner. Now passing by the planet. Underneath the rings, just like you. Or on top of the rings, but I suspect it's below. From your perspective, your ship appears... Nope, your ship appears oriented is the rings are below you. Okay, following you into the Hazard. Stand by.
Security response unavailable. That's awesome.
In range. I've dropped out the window. Deploying fighter.
Copy that. Engaging
Got
telephone.
a Viper MK something. Shield of Justice. Competent scanning. Clean.
Clean. Not a threat.
Scan detected.
Scanning out. That's good.
Clean. Type 7 transporter. Damn it. Tooth, Anaconda. Please be a bad guy. Please be a bad guy. Hell yeah, here we go. Tooth, Anaconda.
Behind the asteroid, stand by. Got name.
Who the hell just hit me?
Anaconda looks to be... Getting shield. This guy's gonna be tough to take down. His shields are almost gone now.
That's what my beams are for, is to rip the shields down.
So
Why
much
don't you stop
damage.
shooting the fucking chain?
Target shields offline.
Shields are done.
Yep. Target is obliterated.
Got him. Another one.
103,000 credit claims.
That wasn't bad at all. We had 2 fighters on him.
What? Yeah, you can have a snack.
Okay, I'm going to collect the debris.
All right ahead. I'm scanning for the next victim. Target. Dumbass dumb enough to come here.
Copy, Commander. Scanning potential threat.
Cargo scope deployed.
Shield of Justice again. What the hell?
We are 10 kilometers away from the...
Was that?
10 kilometers away from the center of the Hazrat, so we're going to head towards it.
Okay.
A lot of times we'll come across other potential targets.
Very well. Don't get too far out of range though. believe my shield, my collection is finished. Reorienting craft towards you. Through the asteroids. Kilometers away. Activating lights so we can see some of the shit around us. Inbound, we just had someone jump in.
Scan detected.
A scanner was detected. I have a hostile on me. I'm going to
Wild
engage.
fight?
What's that?
Wild fight?
I don't know. Hold on. Someone is just scanning me and is asking what cargo I'm carrying. It's usually not a good sign.
Oh, probably
I found one.
right here.
An eagle named Petters.
Little eagle that's already lost its shield.
No.
Good job, Commander. No more threats in this sector.
I just took out the eagle.
Overheated almost, but I took
Oh, shit.
the target.
Damn it.
What?
Oh, I just ran into a fucking asteroid at full throttle. Like a dumbass.
So I told you not to get too far away. Man, you are going through these asteroids like crazy. Crazy, man. Crazy.
That's just it. I can go so fast, but my headlights don't go fast enough.
Type 7 transporter standby. This is getting crowded in here. You have a hostile on you.
Yeah.
Someone is shooting at me.
Cobras can't really quite outrun me. They try, but...
Someone is hitting me. I don't know who or why.
Anything's behind you.
Doing? Are we still headed towards the center?
Well, I spun around to try and figure out what you said something was attacking you, so trying to...
They went away or something. I think he blew them up. They started shooting at me because we're in the same room.
Probably. Well, I guess we'll head back towards the center then.
5.5 ground in the center.
Yeah.
3 kilometers and closing on the center. Oh dear.
Don't follow too close to my tail, because I'm buzzing a lot of these asteroids.
I've turned off my... Okay, we're at the center.
Flight assist.
Yeah, I'm scanning for ships.
Scan detected.
And you're 3 kilometers away already somehow.
I'm only doing... I'm barely got any throttle right now.
Well, you need to use less because you keep moving very far away very quickly.
I'm doing like 26 25, 26 meters a second. I
Someone's
just found a Viper MK3 that's wanted.
there's someone here that's also coming close to me and scanning my head to see what's following.
Oh, it's Chris Patterson. He's dying.
Your fighter collided with me. What the hell skill level you got in that fighter?
Master.
I don't know what he's doing.
I'm about ready to get rid of him because he's doing a lot of dumb shit lately. Federal gunship wanted.
Hang on, I gotta collect something.
You go ahead and collect. I'm just shooting at this guy.
The federal gunship, man.
That don't mean nothing. The shield's already gone.
Well, I could have pulled down or something.
It's down to less than 40%. Full already.
Oh, I just sent over a repair limpet by accident.
I could probably use one. I'm at 85%. I hit an asteroid. Like an idiot.
If you need a limpet, let me know.
Hey, go take all your... Put your fighter on...
I have another wanted target here.
Oh shit, never mind. You got a wing of 3 of these guys.
Hang on. Missed him just by that much.
He's being on the dark side.
Target's amber. Hit him 3 times. The shields are finished.
I'm not a little faster, you're trying to run away. Hi.
This asshole is pissing me off, man. He's running away.
But, Cobra MK3?
Yeah.
Yeah, same. You and I are both on him.
Rickard.
That did a lot of good.
Shields are gone again on both of you.
Temperature critical.
He just disappeared somehow.
Yeah.
Alright.
I've got his buddy right on my tail here. Buddy, you asshole.
Shields are done. He's down to 46.
Tango is down.
That's the end of him.
Why the hell can't I target this dick?
We're in an asteroid field. Threat target approaching. He's trying to take out my limpets.
Damn, these fuckers are like full throttle strafe runs is all they're doing.
Well, now this wandering asshole has a torpedo of mine on him.
Scout detected.
There he is. Let's get another one. I'm sure one of them will hit. Whoops.
That one's down.
Did my torpedo hit him or did you hit him?
I took the other one down.
Okay. Who the hell is this? Is that you with the red beams?
Yep. I've got a scramble spectrum pulse laser.
Can't see any more hostiles. That must be it.
Finished him off. So what do you think of my weapons?
Not too bad if these guys weren't buzzing around so bad.
That's why they're buzzing around so much. You see you got shock cannons on you. They try to evade them by buzzing around. I'm going to go over here for a minute. Some interesting looking cargo.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Mom, grab my phone out of the pickup.
I didn't see it in there.
Ray, you got my phone?
No. Not in your pickup.
It's in my pickup?
Not in your pickup.
Where the hell is it?
There's a battle raging over here if you're interested.
I'm trying to repair a hole so we can go play.
Still recovering loot and booty from the debris field. Some interesting materials coming in. Nothing super wonderful. What's this white pyramid flying around here?
White pyramid.
Yeah, on the sensor scope, there's this white thing and you're chasing it.
I don't know.
It doesn't say you have any... You're out of range, you're 6 kilometers away.
I'm targeted. I've got you on my target at the moment.
You're too far away. There you go. I can't help you if you move that far away very easily. I've become running back to your aid. Oh, there we go. There's one. Lazier. I've been looking for this asshole. Except he's clean. Why would he be bitching about my cargo if he's all clean?
The bounty hunter.
And clean wing.
There's a wanted ship, a Python even.
Oh, there it is.
What the hell just buzzed in front of me? It's like Mach 8. That's you buzzing around.
Hit him with a couple of my plasma charges.
Got a pretty good shield here.
He's got wing people on him. He's taking me on.
He's out of my range now. Took off after you and ran out of my range. I had to chase him down so I could start firing the lasers again.
He's done.
Target destroyed. Scanning for more hostiles.
There we go, Federal gunship wanted.
Where is he?
Right at my target getting shot at. Keep popping on traffic, it's the only chance you get. They're both engineered to have undesirable status effects.
My plasma charger took him out. Oh, he's still got 2%. Huh. Fighter's finished him out.
Target destroyed.
Can't see any more hostiles. That must be it, Commander.
No more hostiles are found within range according to my wing. So unless more jump in, I'm out of torpedoes and I've used up... Well, I haven't used anything up. I mean, I can still fight. Oh, the shot cannon's out of ammo. Are we going to stay and fight or not?
Well, I still have plenty of shot spray cannon ammo, so...
Fine, I'll re-inventory myself some...
And just start collecting materials because there ain't nothing here right now. Give it some time and something will pop.
Well, for fuck's sakes, it takes 3 grid resistors to do a recharge. I only had 1. Yeah, I have to collect...
I can't collect the materials, so you might as well just collect them up.
Yeah, well, there's going to be grid resistors in there, so that's where I get my recharge from. I can't really help you fight anymore until this is fixed. I'm completely out of ammo. I have 1 pulse laser gimbal. Well, it's a big pulse laser, and it's the class 4. But
I see some combat going on up to the head.
ah, yes, the downside of the shot cannon, limited ammo. But you have to admit, it's pretty impressive.
Federal assault ship. Wanted. Oh, you destroyed my repair limpet, little bitch.
Well, as I see it, I have two choices. Now that you've seen me fight, I can sit here and wait for more debris to appear, thanks to your battle
Or
maneuver.
follow me and just collect all the debris.
No, I'm going to go to the start.
I'm attacking shit right now.
I know, but I can more efficiently go and come back than wait for grid resistors to appear.
It's up to you.
Stand by. Yeah.
Tulip.
For some reason, people are interested in this other star called Trumanucci, sorry. Trumanucci. What the hell? Okay, I've got to leave the area. I'll be right back. Wish I could transfer my fighter to your ship for a while, but it won't let me.
Come jump on my ship and kick my idiot out of his seat.
Yeah.
Keep it steady, Commander. Initiating automated retrieval.
Automated retrieval procedure has commenced. Chi system is over here. And why is everyone so...
Who's interested in it? What?
Commander Loston's been there for quite a while. I'm just getting a sensor readout on it now. Contested by Yuri Grom. I'm just going to check canon science for a second. Give me a moment.
We're 21 kilometers away from the Hazres Center.
Yeah, well, I'm leaving the area, so give me a moment. There's no Eagle Eye report. So where are the, as of 1st September, today being the 11th, of course, confirmation of hearing outcome. As agreed, these hearing notes will be published openly as a special Eagle Eye report for week 26. I will start with a recap of information gleaned in recent days from the Eagle Eye installations. This week saw an attack on the Henry Dock in the Valcup system. The attack came as a surprise. It was only discovered very late in the week. Aegis megaships have jumped. Aegis motherships have jumped to LTT 17688 and LSH 384. Operation Ida.
Warning, engine disruption. Drives
The damage
I'm just pointing to shields.
No, you're damaging my ship, you realize. There is
Oh,
a
you
difference.
still got 100% hull.
You're damaging my ship, you realize. What else is
But
it?
still says you got 100% hull.
It doesn't fucking matter. Their systems aren't good. Check your sensors to see what damage you're doing to my subsystems.
Cargo hatch is at 95. Your Guardian plasma charge is
Right, it
97.
was formerly at 100. That means you're making it through my shields with some of your shots. Your weapon configurations must allow you to do that.
Or which ones will be actually doing that?
I don't know. That's your weapons. I haven't scanned you. I'm reading a report. This is certainly a worry for the Council as hundreds of commanders on board. Blah, blah, blah. Gluttony Banks advised me that the Anti-Dino Initiative would hear an Emperor operation named Second Labor following the warning of an enhanced Thargoid presence in the area, which we all see them joining in the Cone Sector in FN3 D90. Several other groups have expressed a similar intent. Along with any independent pilots, we should extend welcome to them for our protection. Should Thargoid threat be substantiated. So we have to jump out to the Cone Sector to find Thargoids. That sucks. That's like thousands of light years away from there. Where is it? Cone Sector FN3 D90. Fuck off. Cone Sector. Cone Sector FN3 D90. Oh, FNJ. Eyes are going all sideways here. FNJ D90.
Expired.
That's nice. I've located the planet in question.
Where?
Dude, that is nuttily outside of known space. Where the hell were they headed? They were going to they said that was initially their jump. They made it to the Cone Sector. This is where the Gnosis is, yeah?
I do not know.
I don't see any permit locks on here. Oh, yes I do. Requires unknown permit. All the stars in the Cone Sector require a permit. Call 97 sector also requires permits. All these sectors are locked out. In the name of Christ, why would anyone lock out an entire quadrant of the galaxy? They're doing something out here. This is where the next stage of the game happens. And guess what? It's just past Guardian space. Oh, the outdot system in 1,399 light years is available. It's too far away. I'll head for the Kokomina system. One jump. 22.31 light years. Planet is marked as a trade route. Profitable. They have a technology broker here of some sort. I don't know which one. It's at Vinci Station. Course laid in. Computer, prepare for jump.
Cargo scope retracted.
Jumping back through planetary range.
Frameshift drive charging.
Engaging hyperlight jump.
I get docked here. I'm going to have to go find my phone and find a restroom. So.
All right.
I don't know.
21 kilometers away from Vinci Station. Oh, apparently my
I
nav.
have no idea. Well, I'm auto docking, so I gotta go find my phone. I'll be back.
Okay.
Thank you. This is an important announcement. Security surveillance is in effect at the facility at all times. Any acts of aggression will be met with an appropriate response. Unlawful behavior in or around the starport is not permitted. We thank commanders for their cooperation. This is a message to all commanders. Please reduce your speed when maneuvering your ship inside the document. We would like to remind all commanders to avoid blocking access to docking pads during arrival and departure. This is a flight regulations reminder. Please do not obstruct the access corridor during arrival or departure.
Okay, you still there?
Yeah. So still
Good.
dealing with the starport.
What's the starport doing or not doing?
It's not. I bought a couple of weapons upgrades. Unlocked the shard cannon, class 1. Also a chapter 3 enhancement. These I can put in the day 2 weapon slots as alternatives to the torpedo pylons.
Let's take a look and see what they've actually got.
Well, I've never used the shard cannon before, but I thought it's worth a go. I'm trying out different weapons to see what's more effective than the other.
What the fuck is going on here?
The other thing is I need those class 2 turreted shot cannons, and it means I have to go back to a human-controlled technology broker to find out what the requirements are and what I have.
I go into the station menu and you know how it highlights which option you want? It's jumping all over the place.
I might have to go back to main menu and log back in.
That's what I'm figuring I'm going to end up doing here.
Disconnected.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured out what my problem was.
But
I've got a gamepad controller that was tucked up and something was sitting on it just right. Pushing one of the buttons, it was fucking with things.
Oh no.
I rarely use that stupid controller, so I don't even think much of it, but yeah. Figured it out when I unplugged that and everything started working properly again.
Yep. Oh my god, do you realize how much bounty we collected from that mission in Masia? 616,000 credits. Holy fucking Christ. Starport Services, collect that bounty. Thank you.
93% ship integrity. I better restock some lipids.
We don't have interstellar factors here, so we're screwed, you see. I bought the shard cannon. It does some impressive damage. 22.2 damage per second for a class 1. The only thing that's higher than that, according to my analysis, are the torpedoes, which dole out 60 points of damage per hit. And they can be interceded, as you point out. The shard cannons, they fire at a rate of 1 every half second, and they don't run out of ammo. So, by the looks of things, these cannons are sweet little instruments to have on the bottom of your Anaconda. So we'll leave them there for a while.
That means I gotta go find Guardian shit.
Yeah, well, I've been planning to go out there for a while, but I think I'll wait till the next update before I go, because I want to see what's happening here in the bubble before I go back anywhere.
I have one Guardian module blueprint segment.
I have lots.
I've only got one.
Oh, you have a module?
I went out there and Spike went out there and he kind of showed me what needs to be done, so now I just gotta go back to it someday.
The weapon segments are fairly common. The blueprint one, you have to find it at a special place. And there's now one for the Trident fighter. So that ugly little fighter that you didn't like too much, but apparently is quite effective. So you'll have to decide if you want to go back out there and collect weapons or modules or fighters or what. You need different modules to get different things.
No. You need a weapons blueprint, a module blueprint, a vehicle blueprint.
Yeah. That's right. Just checking out Galnet. No more Galnet news at the moment. Tomorrow's Wednesday, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the day before the update. So I'm gradually losing money being here, but not very much. I've only lost 1 million credits so far.
I've spent 700 million credits since I left the California sector.
Well, I've spent 75 million credits since leaving the California sector, but I still have 90 left. So I need to purchase some more stuff. The next vehicle I'll update is the crate. And
SpongeBob. What the
hell is that?
SpongeBob.
We have to find a base that's close by with human technology. So, we will do that. Oh, someone's getting shot upstairs.
Not me.
could be you, just isn't right now. Near the Cocamina sector, Vinci Station's Guardian and Silva Terminal in the Liubajara system. It's only 14 light years away, according to this. I'm gonna have a sip of my drink. What time is it? 10:58, and I have to go soon. So the only way for me to message you is to actually send you a message through Inara, really. Or the website. Speaking of which, hang on a second.
What do you mean in order to send me a message? If I'm offline?
Yeah.
Send me a message on Discord.
Or that, yeah. I should send Spike a message.
Spike and I sit and leave messages for each other in Discord quite often. The beauty is I can leave it on all day long and it really don't hurt nothing.
No. So there is your, where's your video? Where'd you put your video?
Could be on the one spot.
I don't see it.
You can make me log in there just to figure out where it's at.
I don't see it here. Oh, there it is. Found it. It's an MP4.
Yeah.
Do it with you online so you can get my reaction. Well, this isn't really your configuration. This is your movie.
Yeah, that's what I said that one was. That was me in a Haz-Res dicking around. You got my configuration. I sent those to you on Discord, private.
Oh, I thought you posted those on the website.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, it's just, no one can get it. It's only for our wing members to see.
Yeah.
Well, it looks very impressive. You're beating the hell out of someone. Thermic alloys. Who'd you get this off of?
Huh? Where'd I get what?
You're in your Corvette right now by the looks of things.
Yeah.
How the hell are you going to nav a Corvette into a cargo vessel?
How do I make a folder in SharePoint documents?
Yeah. Well, you just go, you want a folder of your own, like?
Yeah, I was figuring just put a folder in there and I dump those things in there. Shit like that so it's easy easier to find.
I think I'm going to have to make you a limited administrator to do that, because unless you're SharePoint admin, you can't really do much that way, unless the new menu gives you. I think you go new and then you put page under pages. Like if you go to the pages page.
Oh, here, add folder. I can do that.
Yeah, you can do that. Once you're in pages.
I just gotta click around and figure it out. Let's see.
And then you make a folder. Or you could go under documents, would it make even more sense? Go to the documents, oh you did. Yes,
yeah, I'm in the documents. I made a folder.
Yeah, okay.
I'm looking for the ones I want. No.
Magnification. Be like a grandpa and looked at it was like, 18-point fonts on your screen.
Okay, it should be uploading. 8 things.
There we go. Some of them are appearing. I don't even have to touch the browser. It automatically updates every time you add files. It just puts them into the folder and I can see them.
Hi, Jeff. Love you.
Yeah, little documents are appearing in the folder.
Yeah, I think I just uploaded everything I had in that folder, though.
So, where do we have to go again? Bajabara or Jabber something? What? No. The Bajara system.
Okay, that should have my Anaconda
set up
for you.
Good, wonderful, splendid. I'm going to the Bajara system. Wherever the hell that is. Bajara.
It really sucks that when they made the crate, they took one module socket away and gave you the ability to have the two wing seats in your ship plus the ship bay or the fighter bay. But it'd be nice to have that one more socket so I could actually justify having the FSD booster in my ship.
I know, but you're flying a medium-class craft. Like
I know, but the Python has one more socket in it than the crate does. Yeah, but it's one of their leveling mechanics in the game. It just sucks.
Sort of, but again, the Python's considered medium, and although it has one more thing, it cannot be a fighter bay or a vehicle bay of any kind, actually. It has to be... It has to be a... You can have an SRV, but you have to... Basically, everything else has to be a module. So it's a little bit more compact. And I think the Python is the maximum size for a medium-class vessel. Everything else after that is large, and there's no way to get around that. And you get plenty more thrust with the crate to compensate you, so I wouldn't complain too much. Okay, so we're ready. Launching. We'll go to the human station and see what we need. Do we have to go mining, or do we have to go kill something? Or someone? Or even better, lots of people from orbit when they can't shoot back. So do you think Kim Jong-il will get his second meeting with Trump all arranged nicely?
Don't know. I haven't paid attention to it.
I'm kind of curious if he's been following the rules to be laid out.
I was while I was at work, and my breaks today, I was kind of looking at some of how they think they want to separate or leave Canada and join the United States and all that.
Who's this?
The Canadian, what the hell province is it that thinks they want to secede from Canada?
Alberta?
Was it Alberta or a different one?
Quebec.
Yeah, Quebec, there you go.
Quebec can't join the United States. It's French-speaking. The Americans would require that they abandon French and learn English.
No.
Yes.
They just have, no.
You only have one official language in the States.
The federal government has no official language. Individual states have official languages, but the federal government does not.
Okay, you try integrating Quebec in the United States, you watch what happens.
Here's the problem. There's half a dozen other U.S. territories, Commonwealth and whatnot, that's been trying for 20 years plus to become a U.S. state.
There's that too. Yeah.
They already have all their poop in a group to actually go through all the proper channels to become a state.
That's right.
And it's taken forever. Quebec and Alberta, or anything that's not already American property, has little chance of ever becoming a part of the United States in a timely manner.
Well, Canada itself could join the United States en masse, is the other alternative. That would suit, I'm sure that would suit the United States just fine, but unless we all agreed that we wanted to join the United States together as a nation, I don't think the Americans are going to go for it. And for the reasons that you've stated and for the reasons I've stated. Quebec itself, it would not have the guaranteed language protections. Even if the Americans don't have an official language policy, the fact remains that even in Puerto Rico, the most fluently Spanish territory within the United States, has still adopted it.
Common language, then it'd be French.
Right.
So I mean, at the federal level, there is no single accepted or single used language. English just happens to be the common language because the majority of people speak English.
Yeah, but you're not going to have Quebec join, then go to Washington and find out that we're going to offer you government services in French. That's just not going to be on.
No,
and
Quebec will have to adapt to our way of life,
right? And
not vice versa.
They won't.
No,
they would never do
and
that.
There's actually 3 other stipulations that Quebec would have to actually fulfill before they'd even have a chance.
Yeah. Being?
Give me a second, I'll look it up here. Oh shit, I suppose I closed that stupid page, didn't I? Son of a bitch. Yeah, I closed it.
You can always go to
basically, any territory that, or anything that wants to in the United States has to prove that they are basically that they can survive on their own, that the state can
contribute,
support its own economies and its own people, its own social programs without massive government input. They got to actually have a state constitution that is ratified by the other existing states.
Yeah. I think Quebec.
And I think their codified laws have to be kind of in jive with the rest of the states.
Well, the states follows a codified legal system based on Napoleon. Quebec, of course, follows codified law as well. The Napoleonic Code is integral to their system of provincial laws. So on at least 2 of the 3, if not all 3, the Quebecers could likely comply. But again, I don't see they would have to spend time as an independent
There'd be a
nation
whole lot of
own.
things that they would have to change and adapt in order to come into line with basically the other 50 states.
Quebec has never shown that much interest in doing that, so in the end it's presumed they would end up on their own and that would be that. The official policy of the United States government has been and remains, as far as I know, even in the Trump era, that Quebec should remain a part of Canada, and that is the United States Council to the People of Quebec.
There's one thing I was reading today that basically said that back in like '95, when Quebec tried to
separate,
tried to separate, the United States had an official position of, if Quebec separates from Canada, the United States is not going to acknowledge their sovereignty.
No, that's right.
Just because they separated, Quebec is going to end up suffering because the United States more than likely won't officially acknowledge
and the
their sovereignty for quite a while.
Yeah, the people that were the pro-separatist movement in Quebec basically ignored the American warnings and ignored all the economists' views that Quebec was going to suffer huge economic calamity if it separated, and said that and the politicians convinced a good number of the people that because of Anglophone bigotry in the rest of Canada, that using fear and hatred, stimulated hatred, to drive up the ire of the separatist movement. They basically got their best chance in Canadian history ever to separate, and they still missed it by a couple of percentage points. There were recounts, they still missed it. So the majority of Quebecers, but now the other thing is that some people said that Quebec missed it by as much as 15%. They should require Quebec to have to hit the 60% or 65% threshold before they leave, because you can't just have the province leave and come back into Canada again whenever the hell they feel like it. It has to be, look, we're going to do this, and we're going if they voted in a referendum,
Quebec or Alberta or if any Canadian territory were to try and join the United States, the one thing they would have to realize is if they join the United States, they lose the option of seceding. You cannot, once you become part of the United States, there is no secession. You cannot leave.
Yeah, there is.
It is against the law.
We just recently, just yesterday, Canada got launched into a constitutional crisis unexpectedly because the province I live in, Ontario, up and beside the Premier, who's the antecedent of the governor, I guess, up and decided that he was going to use something called the notwithstanding clause, which is a constitutional tool in the Canadian Constitution to basically put a stop to any court ruling that the province disagrees with. Now, because of the American and French examples that have been cited previously, it is politically dangerous to do this, but the leader of the province of Ontario went further and said, and if I ever get a court ruling again that goes against the wishes of the majority who voted me in as Premier, I'm just going to use the notwithstanding clause, claiming all the while, out of the other side of his mouth, that he respects the rule of law. Well, you can't have it both ways. You can't exempt yourself from the laws every time. Now, in the United States Constitution, no such device exists.
Okay, from what you've just told me, he is actually using a loophole in the law that is legal.
It is
legal. If he's actually doing what is in what the majority is asking, then yeah.
But he didn't campaign.
It sounds like more gray area than anything, from what I'm understanding.
No, it would be a gray area in the States. In Canada, we operate on a very different principle than the American Constitution. Part of our Constitution is unwritten, and this comes from Anglo-British tradition, right? So not every law necessarily has to be written down to be a law in Canada. You can have conventions that get observed, ways and means of governing that form a de facto law, which the courts will accept as such. And what's happened here is the Premier has used the explicit notwithstanding clause to override what he wants to do. Basically, the city of Toronto, Canada's largest city, called an election. After that, Doug Ford got sworn in as Premier. He'd won a previous election. The writ got dropped for Mayor of Toronto, and the councillors and Mayor of Toronto were in an election campaign. And then Doug Ford, when he's sworn in, comes along and decides, you know what? You don't need that much representation. I've decided that instead of 46 councillors, you should have 20. And so now he's created Bill 5, which basically takes the number of seats that are available for Toronto's councillors and now reduces that to 20. So that for every one person in Toronto, you get a ward size of 116,000, which is actually worse than in Canada. You get one MP in the House of Commons for every, I don't know, it's like 80,000 or 9,000 people, right? So a riding in Canada or an electoral district gets 90,000, is divided up into segments of 90,000 people, roughly. And there's like 400, well, no, it must be more than that. Anyway, whatever it is.
So in other words, this guy, you're telling me, this guy has decided that he's going to use a loophole to undermine one of the legislative branch.
Right. He's just basically using the notwithstanding clause. Like, you could have habeas corpus overridden by a willing Premier who could take the key and throw it away when it came time to arrest people for something. He could make up whatever laws he wants, secret laws that, you know, he could do whatever the hell he wants. It makes the Premier virtually all-powerful, and the courts in Canada will respect it, but there is one or two other devices remain which might override the Premier. The Prime Minister of Canada can come along and say, look, you're behaving like a wingnut. To hell with this. I'm going to take the other 9 premiers I have behind me who also want the rule of law enforced, and we're going to use a 146-year-old clause in the old British North America Act called the disallowance clause. And disallowance basically means I override your override. The notwithstanding clause can't be used. That's number one. But number two, the other thing that the Prime Minister can do is he could maybe phone the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, who's the Queen's representative, extends all the way down to the provincial level, right? So we have a Governor General of Canada, who's the Queen's representative in Canada and could theoretically override the Prime Minister. And you could actually have a Lieutenant Governor similarly override a Premier of a Ontario legislature and say, no, I'm not signing this into law. It just won't become law. It's only ever happened once before in Canadian history in support of locking up all the Germans in Alberta during World War II. The Lieutenant Governor at that point was to said, no, I'm not signing this into law. This is discriminatory. I mean, it was literally
It almost sounds like the checks and balances weren't quite designed quite right there.
The way our Constitution came together was very different than the Americans. I mean, it wasn't quite the same thing. We didn't have a Congress. Instead, we had a Council of Premiers. It's called the Council of the Federation. And the Council of Premiers agreed to become a country, right? In 1982, when we repatriated our Constitution from Britain and Canada effectively divorced itself from Britain forever ever after so that the Queen could not intervene here anymore, part of that included a renegotiation of certain parts of the Constitution which were updated. So we rewrote our Constitution into a codified Constitution similar to the United States. Articles 1 through 32 were originally negotiated without the notwithstanding clause applying to them. so that nobody in the country could ever override them, not the Prime Minister, not the Queen, not a Lieutenant Governor, nobody. It would always be at the Constitutional Supreme. However, Quebec, far right-wing premiers and far left-wing premiers all disagreed about the merits of having a constitution that was that tied down, so that the rule of law would basically fall on the letter of law, where Supreme Court of Canada could at its whim, depending on the number of justices that had occupied the upper chamber, they could decide not only to hear which cases they would hear, they would also be able to decide how laws were interpreted through a right-wing lens or through a left-wing lens. And the concern on the right was that there would be too many left-wing activist judges that would come along and override right-wing measures taken in passing laws and could overturn them. And likewise on the left side, that there would be too many wingnutty right-wing premiers that would pass into legislation laws, or they would pass laws into existence themselves as left-wing premiers, and then a Supreme Court stacked with rightists would similarly override the protections for the laws that were being instituted to add their own, have their say basically in what conduct would be followed. So for that reason, plus Quebec didn't want its cultural values overridden by an activist Supreme Court either. So for these reasons, they decided that what would happen would be that we'd have a notwithstanding clause, and that if to erase the fear of what a Supreme Court of Canada would do in the future, they would make it so that the legislatures would be able to override the courts in critical circumstances, such as Language Bill 101 in Quebec, where in defense of Quebec culture, the Anglophones, whom the Supreme Court had recognized the rights of in a ruling, the Quebec L'Assemblée Nationale, or the National Assembly of Quebec, simply said, well, we're going to use the notwithstanding clause and we're going to have Bill 101 stand anyways, despite the fact the court struck it down. Rather than play this game of going to court for years trying to make sure that the French language rights were protected. And the measure worked, actually. In Quebec, it ended up so that English language rights were sort of treated secondarily, and it meant that French became more prolific as everyone needed to learn French to deal with the government. A lot more people probably did learn French. And so the French language flourished, and it has survived as an island of French in a sea of English ever since. So it's thought the notwithstanding clause is used as a tool like that when the legislative branch feels that it has a mandate from the people, as Quebec did, to protect special rights within a given province that the Supreme Court could not, for its reading of the law, protect it on its own. However, what's going on in Toronto as of this week, this is not what's going on. What he's doing, obviously, if you think about it for a second, why would he want to reduce the number of councillors to 20? Well, no doubt he told his own cronies, by the way, I'm reducing the number of councillors to 20. Here's how you want to structure your campaign. So people loyal to Doug Ford and his cronies would get elected in the new form of the city council. They would spend their money accordingly and be given every advantage over other candidates in the newly constituted wards. And this is what's been feared, right? The media hasn't said anything about this, but a lot of Canadians are certainly talking as if this is what's going on, because it's kind of an obvious it's kind of an obvious incentive to do something like this. So in short, nobody's impressed with Doug Ford right now, Premier of Ontario. The worry is that with the abuse of the notwithstanding clause by convention, according to Canada's conventional rules.
It sounds like the Prime Minister, you said the Prime Minister can step in and override them?
The Prime Minister can, and so can the Lieutenant Governor. The Lieutenant Governor has to sign all it's like the American President, right? Except it's at a provincial level. So just like your governors have, if your governors...
You know what I'm saying? Somebody just needs to step up and override them, saying, no, you're not changing this for you and for this reason.
Yeah, that's right. But I don't know who that's going to be. Like, who... Does anyone have the political will? It's creating a bit of drama, which you don't get very often in Canadian society. But this is why our Constitution was architected this way, and this is, as you can see, because it's fairly recent, it's in the 1980s. I mean, this is not a time of civil war. It is not a time of, you know, oh, we're going to throw off the yoke of the British Empire and King George and all that other terrible stuff. I mean, we still remained in the Commonwealth, still loyal in large part to the ideas of the Magna Carta, as the Americans did in the end, anyways. You know, the Magna Carta still had a huge influence on the American Constitution. So, but at the moment, I'm preferring an American-style Constitution with the bloody notwithstanding clause, and I'd be very happy. And for the record, the Prime Minister of the day was our current Prime Minister's father, Justin Trudeau. His father, Pierre-Elliott Trudeau, was the one who renegotiated repatriating the Constitution from Great Britain, so that the British Parliament wouldn't have to anoint changes. I mean, it was largely rubber stamp anyway, but at least it was embarrassing having to go to another country to actually have constitutional changes that we approved of made, as if, like, the British Parliament could say no to us. They had no mandate to, so they never did, but they could have theoretically done so. Now they can't. And it was very important to it was very important to Pierre-Elliott Trudeau to make sure that Canada could stand on its own and be independent, and he pulled off a bloody miracle. I mean, getting 10 premiers in a room together to agree about anything is a rare event in Canadian politics. You know, try getting 10 American governors into the same room and get them to agree about a few things of this complexity, and I'm sure you'd end up with a similar result.
Well, considering that there's always an annual meeting of governors,
all 50.
It normally does happen every year.
They release a statement, but they don't necessarily debate the Constitution full time, do they? Like, they're not talking about getting rid of the Electoral College,
I'm just saying there is an annual meeting of every there is an annual meeting of governors here in the United States.
Like, there's a good example. There's a good example. Take, for example, the elimination of the Electoral College and make America straight up one person, one vote democracy. No intermediary body would be allowed to interfere with that, the way that happened in the last 2 elections, arguably. Well, not the last 2, but 2 elections in the last 20 years. So, if you got rid of the Electoral College, could you get 50 governors to agree unanimously on something like that? I'm sure California and New York
probably.
I'm sure California and New York might have objections. They would argue, well, look, we have you know, the bulk of the U.S. coastal population in our states.
Well, they might have the bulk of the population, but if all of a sudden, say, they piss off majority of the smaller states, well, we could throw the ball and chain out and throw an anchor out and just bring everything to a halt. The federal government has been brought to a standstill many times in the last decade just because they want to not cooperate. So the cooperation
the federal government,
in our country, lack of cooperation has very dire consequences.
Yeah, I know. And the strange thing was that Trump got elected on this platform of, oh, I'm going to shake up Washington. Well, he sure as hell did, but I don't see it as having done much good. It did unify the country, though, against Trump. According to his latest approval rating is down yet another 6 points off the week before. He is in a free fall through the polls. It's expected to bottom out somewhere around 15 to 20% of the population to support him, which will be among the lowest figures of any American president, if not the lowest, since approval ratings were tracked this directly and this assuredly. And this isn't just one poll. This is poll after poll after poll after poll. And something has to be done about him. And luckily, you don't have to do as much as we do to rein in Doug Ford, because Doug Ford has created a real problem in Canada, a real big one. And no one's really sure what the correct fix is at this point, because it's never happened before. No one's ever tried violating convention like this. This is an American-style attempt to leverage the law as it's written to get certain ends met. And it's not following convention, and that is the main objection. We have what is called a conservative democracy. In a conservative democracy, generally conventions are the norm of this sort. You don't necessarily have to write every bloody law down. In a liberal democracy, you do. That's the difference. That's the main difference between a conservative democracy and a liberal one. And I prefer the liberal one, to be honest with you, because actually, as much as I hate the idea of having to write it down, the Americans, I mean, I don't believe that the American system is perfect. It's far from it. But it is one of the better systems we have. That being said, so is the Canadian one.
Well, the American system is set up so that no one single person or group of people can acquire complete power and control.
That's right. And Canada needs that kind of protection. That's why we still have that's one of the reasons we still have our Governor General. If the American people ever looked at the situation with Trump and Doug Ford comprehensively, they would see two very similar men trying to do two very similar things, marshalling power into their own pockets for their own pinnacles of prestige, respectively. And they would see the need for, some kind of a measure. And in Canada, the answer to that really is the appointed Governor General. The irony is that the Governor General and Lieutenant Governors are appointed by the Prime Minister and Premiers, respectively. No province has gotten rid of its Lieutenant Governor yet. And I think it would be dangerous to do so, to have a unicameral legislative assembly. Completely unicameral. The executive authority vested in the Lieutenant Governor is there to be used only in the most extreme of cases where fundamental values are being violated, and regardless of their appointment, they just stand up as a Canadian and say, this isn't acceptable. You weren't voted in to do this. And in theory, the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario could do that to Doug Ford, although no one is talking about it at the moment. But in theory, it could happen. At which point, I don't know what Doug Ford would do, because royal authority, regardless of how real or unreal it is anymore in Canada, it's changed from the Queen now to the Viceroys instead. The Viceroys are appointed, but they're not an aristocracy. They're just arbitrarily appointed for fixed 5-year terms by the Premier or Prime Minister of the day, right? So Doug Ford just got sworn in. That means that his predecessor appointed the current Lieutenant Governor, and that appointee could, in theory, even without a mandate, an electoral mandate, just say, no, I'm not signing this into law. Which means Doug Ford, I guess, would have to wait until he got a more cooperative Lieutenant Governor General that he himself appointed. And one who assured him, yes, I will pass anything you sign into law. Anything that gets past the legislature gets signed into law with me only as a rubber stamp and never questioning it. But in this case, if I were the Lieutenant Governor, I would be seriously thinking about stopping this bill from going through. Plus, what the Court of Appeals said in Ontario so far It said, you know, look, in its ruling that Doug Ford objected to, he simply said, look, there's no incentive here. I agree. The premier of the province sets the rules for municipalities in that province. That's a given. But you don't do it in the middle of an election campaign. You don't start an election campaign and change the rules in the middle. It's a violation of freedom of expression. That's Article 5 of the Canadian Constitution. Why the hell? So now we have a premier of Ontario who's going to override a fundamental right of Canada, the right to freely express oneself, with the notwithstanding clause. It's just outrageous, out-fucking-rageous. Nobody's in agreement with this guy. I'm not even a citizen of Toronto, and I feel like dirty somehow being in Ontario. like my rights have been violated. Again. It's amazing how often authorities can get away with that. Anyway, thought you'd find that interesting.
It's extremely confusing.
But do you at least understand what I mean by convention?
I understand the concept that somebody's trying to use a loophole to do shady shit.
Yeah.
I don't understand the way the Canadian government is set up, just like you don't truly understand how the American form of government is set up.
Well, I don't live there.
That's just it.
Yeah.
That's just it. I've lived here in America my whole life. The system has been drilled into my head since I was a child. Whereas in Canada, you've had that system drilled in your head. That's what you know and understand.
Yeah,
so
although I've studied the American system at some length. But yes, that's true. But you can only read about a system so much, and you can't really understand it unless you live there for a time. I'd have to become a dual Canadian-American citizen in order to understand it, and it would take years, I'm sure.
Oh, like I said, the biggest thing is that the federal level, it's set up so that no one person or group can gain total power. As much flapping of the lips that Trump wants to do, he can be effectively cock-blocked by the Supreme Court and by Congress, and there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, there's still a lot of shit he is trying to pull off, though, and some of it he does get away with. But this collusion with Russia was one example of, he insists he's innocent, but he's a liar. So I mean, you can't really take him at his word. He's lied so many goddamn times that I've lost count. I just don't understand why they elected.
He's a businessman. That's part of being a businessman, is to be a liar, and they know how to get away with it. But then again, being a politician, lying is part of the job. I mean,
in business, I've never lied. I may have exaggerated the truth, or I have overestimated or underestimated, as the case may be. I don't out and out be dishonest in a business transaction with someone, because it's going to lead to disaster. That is my lesson, and one I would think you would take to heart. American businessmen do not, if they want to be successful in dealing with Canadians at least, if not Europeans and the rest of the world, do not lie to them outright. And Trump is not an example of what I would call a successful businessman. He got his money, he is from old money. His money comes from inherited
property. At the end of the day, where his money comes from doesn't really matter.
Well, it does if you're evaluating.
The fact that he has money and he can use it for his personal gain, that's
fine. That doesn't mean he's a wonderful businessman automatically. What would make him a wonderful businessman is if he would drop these ridiculous ideas about, about the threat of Canadian culture on America. Like, for Christ's sake, man, how much of a threat can Canada be to American culture? You're taking over Hollywood. We're hearing this now. Can you believe this? Not hearing this. It's ridiculous.
at the end of the day, Trump is only going to be able to blow his horn for so long before people get tired of it.
You know what? There will be a NAFTA.
Whether he realizes it or not, people are starting to get tired of the crap.
Yeah, well, whether with the NAFTA trade deal, there will be a deal. I'm very confident. We will have another 15 to 20 years of uninterrupted, profitable trade with one another, and Trump will come out of it claiming victory, like the United States won. You watch what he says, then you look at the Canadian Prime Minister and see what the Canadian Prime Minister says. And what the Canadian Prime Minister will say was that all three countries won. Mexico, the United States, and Canada all won. But Trump won't say that. He'll just say America won. Regardless of whether or not there is a NAFTA deal. Even if NAFTA doesn't happen, he'll still say America won. Because we stopped those Canadians from doing all sorts of terrible things to our dairy products and holding to their ideas on culture. Thank goodness the world's a safer place. I know.
It really doesn't matter what Trump has to say because he's an airhead and we all know it.
I didn't think the American people were going to be that delusional, but I didn't think they would want a liar as president either. But they got one somehow, and now we have to all deal with him. And I think he may have even inspired Doug.
Only a couple.
Anyway.
There's only a couple more years before he'll be gone.
One way or the other, yes. I think so. Unless he pardons himself. I hereby pardon myself and indemnify and hold harmless anything I might have done to the American government as president is hereby legal. That's what Nixon said, right? He said much the same thing. When the president does it, the president is right. No, when the president does it, that's what makes it right. That's what he said. Well, you'd certainly like to believe that, yes.
I don't know, Nixon ran away like a little bitch, so it don't matter what Nixon said.
Well, Nixon couldn't have pulled it off with the population that was living in that time frame, but this population's like half filled with millennials now, so I'm not so sure anymore.
If you look at it, a majority of Trump's supporters are not millennial.
No, I know. The millennials
They're actually baby boomers.
No, baby boomers, yeah. And where have they led us? Into a planet inundated with pollution, threatened by thermonuclear war and species-ending events, one after the other, and a very narrow vision of our society. One that does not embrace science and instead embraces superstition, reduced funding for education, and etc., etc. I could go on, but I haven't necessarily liked where the baby boomers have led us.
Sounds like the baby boomer generation.
Yeah, exactly. Largely ignorant of how good
Why do you think there's not a large participation by millennials in society or government? Because for the most part, millennials are just waiting for the baby boomers to fucking get too old and too senile to be able to participate anymore. And then we can just fucking push them into their nursing home room and let them sit there and drool like idiots with hard-ons because they're popping little purple pills. They don't know what to do with their hard-on, but they got a big cheesy grin all day anyhow. Let them sit in a room and fucking reminisce the good old days, and we'll fucking do what needs to be done. The millennials, at the end of the day, are a little brighter than we're given credit for.
I hope
there will be a point in time when the old school mentality, all the people that have that mentality, when they're all gone and out of our way, and then we can just fucking do what needs to be done.
Because both the United States and Canada, in terms of world education numbers, we're falling dangerously behind the rest of the planet in terms of how we educate our children. I think we can do a much better job.
Yep.
And
well, I know around here we got to take on the mentality of let the fucking teacher be a teacher again.
I think that's a good
the
idea.
teachers are to the point around here that they are a glorified babysitter.
Well, they don't want to.
They're not allowed to discipline a child when they get out of hand. They're not allowed to fail a student who decides to sit and pick their nose and fling boogers at the chalkboard all day.
No.
They're not allowed to teach. They're not allowed to lead. They're not allowed to take control of the classroom and do what's in the best interest of the group. They have to sit and deal with all the whiny little motherfuckers who want to put their 2 cents into everything.
You're here.
I deal with it on a regular basis. I hear about it every day from my kids.
Yeah. Well,
and I've actually got some cousins and friends that are teachers, and I hear about it on a regular basis.
I come from a family of teachers myself, and they to one of them, my grandmother probably, it was her generation that was the last one to be really well educated in Manitoba. And after that, the rural school system failed. Then it encroached into the urban center, and I went to private school because that was the only place you could get a decent education anymore. Now, granted, my family still had to pay extra for me to go to private school, but without that private school,
I could afford private school, I would, but it's so fucking outrageous. I can't afford it.
I know you would, and I know it's expensive.
I've looked into it even. That's the sad part.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm sure you did look into it, and I'm so certain of it because I know that, like many parents, you feel that, you know what, your children could get better. Your children are bright; they could be better educated elsewhere, and why shouldn't you have that? And why shouldn't you have that available to you? So,
no.
I would like to see our schools more performance-oriented, and where there were rewards both for children and parents who could actually contribute to a private school or a school setting of their choice, perhaps is a better way to look at it, where the distinctions were a little blurry, but maybe between the private and the public school system, but where your taxes would be deducted only if you sent your children to public school, and that way you could still have the money to send them to a private school.
That's what makes it annoying.
Yeah.
One of the many annoying aspects of the educational system.
Yeah. No, and ideally you'd want, school to be a basic right and for everyone to have to contribute something. Maybe that still has to continue, but it doesn't necessarily have to continue at exactly the same level regardless of where your own children are being schooled. And what if you don't have children? I mean, the school system, to a degree, it should be well funded and paid for, but I'm not of the view that parents in general are gonna skip out on paying the school what is required to educate their children properly if that can be done within a reasonable amount of money. And I think it can be.
The society needs to the way society views the whole education system and the importance it places on certain things needs to change before the school system can be fixed. Yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, if you're a jock, you play sports, well, that takes precedence over actually getting good grades in class. Teachers are pressured to the point that the athletic students that play for the basketball team, they have to have a passing grade in order to play, which means if that's a student that fails regularly, you have to curve the grades of the whole class enough so that student can pass so that they can play in the ball game Friday night, because the school makes more money off the ball games than they do off anything else.
Yeah, it's just insanity. There should be.
It's just so many levels of stupidity.
Yeah. It's got to. You're right. The values do have to change. You have to value the value of every student, but you have to value the value of
I'll say this: I played football and basketball and all that when I was in high school, I was by no means athletic superstar. I was a fucking bench warmer.
Yeah.
But at least I have enough respect for some of the other courses, like the music, the band, the choir, chorus, things like that.
Yeah.
They have a place, and they probably are slightly more important than the athletics are.
Yep. I agree with you.
The all-star of the basketball team is going to hit his plateau when he turns 18 years old. The senior year in high school is going to be the best year of his life. After that, he's going to become a fucking deadbeat, drunk, sit-at-home, fat slob who has not had exercise in the last 7 years,
And
has
beat his
3 kids
girlfriend.
with 3 different women, no job, and living off welfare. Yet the kid that was the A student, played in the band, in chorus, or whatever, in orchestra, did some of the other non-athletic shit. They still kind of participate in those kinds of things.
Yeah.
They went to college, they got good grades, they got a degree, they went off, got a good education, got a good paying job, productive participant of society. It's a trend that most people don't see because they're too bigoted to look past the fact that being the fucking all-star jock in high school.
Well, and if the
isn't
all-star jock, if he'd had a little bit more, backing in calculus, could not only have played, a respectable game of basketball, maybe also, or baseball, but could also have been able to, understand first derivative calculus and attend the sciences as an option in university, get that good job for himself. Maybe it wouldn't have been as the lead scientist, but you would have been able to assist.
Now there are some kids that use their athletic ability to get scholarships so that they can go to college,
Yep.
to get a good education so they can get a good job. Those ones, you got to give them credit. They're thinking outside the box. But generally, most of them don't go that route.
No. Well, then that's also something you're born with. Your genetics play a huge factor. Your training, your coach. I mean, there's a bunch of different factors involved. It's not just all one way, let's just bias the curve and hope for the best. Like, that isn't going to make you a superstar in anyone's eyes, regardless of whether or not you go to state finals and win or not. So, and how much money the school makes off that kind of contribution is patently irrelevant. The school itself should also get funding, based on the performance of in all academic categories across the board, so that children are not only left behind, but the really talented ones are recognized. And
hold on a second, I gotta find a bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm back.
I'm just looking here. The shot cannon turreted class 3. I didn't know you could have a turreted class 3. Turns out you can. But I need a hell of a lot more vanadium, rhenium, and technium. Or technetium, sorry. So, technetium, eh? Well, I need more shot cannons opened up here. And shot cannon class 2. Okay, this one needs less resources, but I need 6 vanadium. Sorry, I need 20 vanadium, 18 rhenium, and another 12 technetium. So we'll say 20, 20, 15. 20 vanadium, 20 rhenium, and 15 technetium. Now, the next question will be, where is the raw materials broker? We have to find him. Galaxy map is on the screen. Computer, show me all the sectors with the following. Not tech broker, I want material trader raw. There's one. I found one! No, I didn't. But I thought I did. Well, there is one. It is some distance away. It is here in the Senicino system, which is where I was before. There's probably a closer one. Let's go and find a closer one, shall we? Material trader. Near Kokamina. Actually, Liu Bajara. Liu, L-I-U-B-A-J. Current location is Liu Bajara. I would like you to run the following. Run Elite Discovery. More, run as the administrator. There we go. Now, in addition to that, I need you, Liu Bajara, to stop taking over my screen and tell me where the nearest raw material trader is. Nearest material trader. Nearest raw material trader is in the Nantes system at Johnson Orbital. The Nantes system. It's like the Nance system. So you have to Nance along to Johnson Terminal. Don't you just love Nancing along? Oh, namaste, sorry. We will nance along to this place over here. Johnson Orbital, locked on target. So 20 vanadium, 20 something else that I forgot already. Oh, what the hell was it? Rhenium. There we go. It's the unfindable element. And 15 technetium. Vanadium, rhenium, technetium. BRT, okay, and launch. And if we don't have enough minerals, we have to go mining.
Go for departure.
It's not too bad.
Kind of a grind.
Mining for materials is fine. Mining for all the crops you can sell on the market to make money, that's annoying. That's the grind. Drive
Moderate traffic
around on the surface of the planet's kind of fun.
Yeah, because you get to bum around in your SRV.
Exactly, I get to tear around like an idiot and see if I can blow myself up.
You have exceeded the station exclusion zone.
Dance along, dance along, dance and dance and dance along. Can't do a pirouette very easily in an Anaconda though. Traveling at hyperlight speed.
Why not?
Well, if you're going to dance around properly, you have to know your pirouette. Oh, Spike has just gone offline. Now's your big chance.
Who just went offline?
Spike K.
Oh.
Suppose the other guy's Spike M. Man, is he ever...
I don't know who Spike M is.
I don't know either. Whenever I think of Spike, I think of Spike Special K. Or is it Special Spike K? One of the two. All I know is ketamine is involved. Yeah, if you ever need yourself to be tranked up for a while, ketamine's a pretty good substance for that. I think they use it as animal tranquilizer now.
Land on pad 02.
For a while they used it on humans.
Assisted docking initiated.
And now humans use it on themselves. Those that like to be tramped out. I know about it because Ottawa was like the city of ketamine for a few years.
Scan detected.
About a decade ago. Seemed like everyone I knew was trying ketamine and stumbled around being discombobulated and incoherent. Didn't really help matters that much. I'd be running around picking things up after them all the time. I even gave them their money back for a complete moron when they dropped on us. Okay, Starport Services. Welcome to Johnson Orbital. You can orbit our Johnson all you want. Let's see here. Contact. Material trader. Here we go. 20 vanadium. Used up most of my carbon, but it's not really good for anything else. Okay, so we got 21 vanadium. That means we need rhenium next. Also 20. Where's rhenium? Moron. Rhenium 2. Let's take our nickel supply and empty that out. The nickel reserves now have 21 rhenium and finally technetium. There we are. We don't have very many of these minerals that we can use. However, we do have 38 tin. It takes 36 just to buy one of them. And we have tellurium. Okay, we'll spend our tellurium. This is going to be a toughie. Yeah, we don't have enough minerals actually. We're 3 short of what we need. They'll only let us trade. crap, man. Technetium is not easy to come by. Okay, I guess that's it for tonight then, because I gotta bum around on a planet and find technetium in order to do what I need done, so I can't do that right now and finish it with any expectation of doing it tonight. I have to get up tomorrow morning. So with that, I'll let you go.
Okay, have a good night.
Have a good night. And for everyone else, that'll be it. This is now the 12th of September, 3304 at 4:14:22 Zulu. I'm at Johnson Orbital at present in the Nampe system. I don't think I'm going to be here for very long, however. Tomorrow we'll likely take the SRB out to a technetium planet somewhere hopefully not too far away, certainly in the bubble, and finish off what we need to get our turreted Class 2 shot cannons, which will hopefully help us with our combat effectiveness on an automated scale. We currently have gimbaled cannons, which do plenty of damage, but I need them to be automated, realistically, I think. Either way, that'll be the last phase of our weapons testing for this ship. We have certainly done quite a massive upgrade to weapons and are doling out a lot more damage than we were before. Ships that we attack are falling very, very quickly. We also added 2 Guardian shard cannons at the bottom of our ship in the Class 1 post positions that also do plenty of damage when summoned upon to do so. Outside possibility exists, we'll be able to perhaps get turreted shard cannons once we have visited the Guardian sector with Commander of Squad or another member of the Guardian group. At any rate, that's it for now. Urge you once again, take a look under the video properties to slide the More Slider widget in the YouTube interface under Google Chrome upwards, and you should find the particulars of 2 websites there that will lead you to additional background information about Commander Trium and his missions in this galaxy. I am Commander Trium. Don't forget, you can click I like or subscribe button within Google's Chrome, and if you're using also Windows 10 with Windows Google Chrome, you can you'll get a bell icon to the right of the subscribe button that will give you the option of having a mini dialogue appear from Google Chrome every time that new content is posted, be it recorded or live broadcast or whatever. Here on Commander Trium's YouTube channel, where you've watched this video, in fact. Thanks again for watching, Commanders. Have a good night, and don't forget to fly safe. This is Commander Trium signing off.